Welcome to this explainer. Today we are diving straight into some serious high-stakes drama from an ancient royal lineage. We're looking at a family grappling with sudden power vacuums, the heavy burden of succession, and honestly, the fatal nature of absolute power. This is the story of the Kuru dynasty. It's drawn directly from ancient texts, but let me tell you, it still echoes with some profound truths about human nature that we see today. It's literally a masterclass in leadership, duty, and the catastrophic consequences of a runaway ego.
So think about this for a second. What actually happens to an empire when its greatest warrior believes he's stronger than the gods? We see this happen time and time again throughout history, right? And honestly, even in modern corporate leadership or politics. Someone achieves this incredibly rapid success, they completely vanquish their immediate competitors, and suddenly, they start to believe the rules of the universe just don't apply to them anymore. In this explainer, we're going to look at the timeless dangers of unchecked hubris, all through the lens of a prince who flew entirely too close to the sun.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The foundation of our story starts off in a period of really great promise. King Santanu establishes this beautiful, peaceful new era with his bride Satyavati, and together they bring two heirs into the household, setting the stage for what really should be a totally secure, multi-generational dynasty. First up, we have Chitrangada. Now, the source text describes him as intelligent, heroic, and endued with great energy. He basically becomes an eminent man super quickly. Then there's his younger brother, Vichitravirya. He's described as a mighty bowman, but crucially here, he's still just a boy. So the kingdom feels secure, right? They've got an energetic primary heir and a capable backup. But as we all know, stability in ancient royal courts is kind of just an illusion. Now, I really want to highlight a specific phrase from the text here: the inevitable influence of time. The source uses this incredibly poetic, mythic phrasing to describe a very simple, inescapable fact: mortality. Before the younger brother, Vichitravirya, can even reach majority, like before he is even an adult, the wise King Santanu realizes his time is up. It's this profound metaphor for the incredibly brief window leaders have to leave a legacy. You can build the greatest empire in the world, you can secure multiple heirs, the whole shebang, but you absolutely cannot outmaneuver the inevitable influence of time. King Santanu ascends to heaven. Just like that, the patriarch is gone. Now, take a moment to really absorb what that means for a kingdom. The anchor of the realm has just suddenly vanished. Will the succession be smooth, or is this massive power vacuum going to invite absolute chaos? Well, to manage this critical transition, the legendary figure Bhishma steps in, and he actually places himself entirely under the command of the widowed queen Satyavati to install the energetic older brother Chitrangada on the throne. So, the suppressor of foes is now the king. Let's move to the next phase and see how this builds, because it builds incredibly fast. Chitrangada takes the throne, and the guy is undeniably powerful. The text notes that he soon vanquished all monarchs just by his sheer prowess. But here is where the psychological trap of success snaps shut. Because he vanquished his earthly rivals so easily, Chitrangada completely stops considering any man as his equal. His arrogance inflates to a literal cosmic scale. I mean, he genuinely begins to believe he can vanquish not just men, but asuras, which are these powerful mythological beings, and get this, even the very gods themselves. His energy has just mutated into this massive, dangerous ego. He has totally lost all perspective. Now, consider the sheer cosmic irony of what happens next. You conquer men, you get arrogant, you boast that you can defeat celestial beings, and guess what? The universe delivers exactly what you ask for. In a twist of almost dark, poetic humor, the prince's unchecked arrogance provokes a wildly powerful celestial being, the king of the Gandharvas. And get this, he just happens to share his exact same name, Chitrangada. It's literally as if the universe manifested a mirror image of the prince's own ego just to strike him down. So now the mortal Kuru prince Chitrangada is face to face with the celestial Gandharva king Chitrangada. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer, devastating scale of the conflict that follows. Guys, this wasn't just a quick skirmish. The text tells us this fierce, grinding combat lasted for 3 full years. 3 years! Can you imagine the environmental and psychological toll on the region? The battle raged on the legendary field of Kurukshetra, right along the banks of the Saraswati River. Our source literally describes thick showers of weapons and combatants who ground each other fiercely. But look closely at how it ends in year 3. The mortal prince isn't just beaten by brute celestial strength. Actually, the text specifically notes that the Gandharva won through greater prowess or strategic deception. So the Kuru prince's arrogant brute force was completely outmatched by divine strategy. The mortal Chitrangada is slain, and the Gandharva ascends back to heaven, leaving the earthly kingdom in total ruin. So now the kingdom is completely shattered. Their invincible king is dead, literally slain by his own namesake. But, as we know, systems need stability to survive, and this brings us right back to Bhishma. Bhishma steps in to clean up the catastrophic mess left by a leader's hubris. And he doesn't panic, he just follows his steadfast duty. Step 1, he performs all the proper obsequies, the funeral rites, for the slain prince, maintaining the dignity of the royal house. Step 2, he installs the younger brother, the boy Vichitravirya, who remember is still a minor, right onto the throne. And step 3, Bhishma takes on the tremendous burden of actually ruling and protecting the ancestral kingdom on the boy's behalf. He completely shifts the entire tone of the nation from violent chaos back to structured stability. So the absolutely crucial point here is the stark contrast between these two brothers. Chitrangada had immense personal power, right? But he refused to submit to anything, not men, not gods, not the laws of nature, and it completely destroyed him. Vichitravirya, on the other hand, is just a boy with mighty arms, yet he does the exact opposite. He places himself fully under Bhishma's command. He adores Bhishma, a man who is conversant with all the rules of religion and law. This new young king is deeply obedient to the dictates of duty. And because of this humility, because he is willing to listen and obey, Bhishma is able to successfully protect him and the realm. The kingdom finds peace not through swinging a sword, but through submission to wise counsel and the rule of law. Which brings us to our final thought for today. I want you to look at the paths of these two brothers and really ask yourself, does true power lie in the strength to conquer or the wisdom to obey duty? Think about it. Chitrangada had the strength to conquer, for sure, but his inability to understand his own limits brought a 3-year celestial war right to his doorstep and ended his life. Vichitravirya lacked his brother's overwhelming initial prowess, but his wisdom to respect law, religion, and the guidance of elders actually secured his survival and his throne. It's just a fascinating paradox from the ancient world that remains incredibly relevant to us today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you eager to uncover more of the incredible lessons hidden within these ancient texts.